Well, hello there, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Pew pew. And welcome to Hot Shakes and Hand Dogs. It is another week where we're Sean Taggart, my co-host, and myself, MrWarrenHayes, recap the weekend of independent professional wrestling. Thank you for joining us. And hi, Sean. How are you?
Good. It was a nice break from being overloaded with independent wrestling. A nice slow weekend.
You know what? I was like, I was like, wait, I should be watching something right now. You know, I was very much in that. Wait, okay, what's next? Oh, wait, there's
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, let me see what's on at 11:08. Oh, wait, nothing.
There's nothing.
Okay,
Yeah,
I guess
exactly. There's
I
nothing
guess I'll go
starting
as
at.
my day.
I
What's
can
the
get a
weekend
sleeping
day like?
schedule set in. Yeah.
Yeah, fit in a
Nothing's
nap or two,
exactly. You know, go outside,
touch
touch
grass,
grass, as the kids say.
then watch my allergies go crazy because I touch grass.
There
You
you
know,
see. Well, that's the thing. I think it's a very loaded suggestion, right? It's as if you were to tell someone who's suffering from allergy, a peanut allergy,
hmm
you know, go eat some peanuts. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it's very insensitive to me, when someone's like to me, "Go eat grass" or "Go eat grass."
see,
No.
that's even worse.
Yeah, it's very worse, but go touch grass, I'm going to explode. My eyes are gonna fall out of my head because I
See,
scratch them too much. I'm not
you,
gonna
you
do it.
you never know what someone's going through, folks. I don't think it's I don't think it, I don't think it's a good one. I think you need to dial it back a bit. You have to realize that,
Know who you're talking to.
exactly.
Get to learn them a bit before you just jumping to conclusions.
Not
Uh,
everyone has had the same life experiences as you people. Come on. Open yourself
already a
up.
you people comment. It's not even 2 minutes in.
We're not even 2 minutes in, but
No,
I will get the comment in that I appreciate everyone joining us here live on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes, which is where the magic happens every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you can ever make it live, if you're listening to the video on demand or listening to this on your favorite podcast application, kudos to you. But if you can ever make it live, please do come and join us live in the chat. Otherwise, tell us, drop a comment, let us know. What did you enjoy about in regards to independent wrestling this past weekend or maybe upcoming? Let's just talk about it. It's always great. Sean and I will react. We'll chat with you. Absolutely sure. But otherwise,
positive.
yeah, 100% positive. But hey, thank you very much. Leave a like, a thumbs up, all that stuff. It's all good.
5-star review if you're
Five
listening on
star
your podcast
reviews.
app of choice. And
Exactly.
somebody who I want to give a 5-star review to, Wheeler Yuta. Man was made. I want to, bring up Rampage. He had a career-altering moment this past Friday, facing John Moxley.
Mhm.
It's nice and it's very weird at the same time to see somebody with a Ring of Honor title on national television. But it was awesome to see at the same time. But man, Yuta had a star-making performance right there.
And it's interesting because, like, we could sit here and go like, well, we knew Wheeler Yuta was special before everyone else did. It would
And
be
I mean, we did, but we're not going to do that. That's not this kind of show.
we no, but we could, but we
But we
won't.
won't.
But it was interesting, and as a guy, I think you've even followed his career longer than I have. As a guy who got to know Yuta on the independents, it wasn't as much as like for me anyway, not as much of as a star-making performance, rather than an accomplishment, like reaching a level where we kind of felt he would eventually reach, but seeing it happen like within months of his signing to AEW and having a great 2021 on top of that, on the indies, I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus, this is a fantastic consecration to a guy who absolutely deserves it.
And I mean, honestly, if we want to be typical AEW fans, he was really signed last weekend when he got the graphic ad Super Card of Honor. But we do know the truth here.
Yes, we do.
He's been around there for a while, but we wanted to give you guys three matches that you could go back and watch of Wheeler Yuta's career because, like Warren just said, he goes in deep into the independent scene, facing a lot of the guys that you see on AEW TV now. I would say this performance graduated him from the Indies. Full stop.
That's a very good. That's a very good assessment. I think he's a big leaguer. Yeah, he's a big leaguer now.
I
Absolutely.
think this really graduated from that. This was the performance that I think we were waiting for from him. And at the same time, I think this is the performance that we know he can do, but he needed to do it on a stage like this.
Sure.
Um, Now, one of the things is he's a very much a mainstay in the Beyond Northeast independent scene, mainly Beyond prominently. He did wrestle in Chikara, trained there by Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. That is the truth. He has had some training with Tracy Williams as well, but it was mainly from uh, Orange and Chuck. One of his moments that really broke him onto the independent scene was 2018 show Beyond Abadanza. It was the Tournament for Tomorrow final between MJF, who we do know he's a talker, and at this point of his career, he was really working out the kinks to become a wrestler, a good professional wrestler, against Wheeler Yuta. And at this point, Yuta was, the whooping boy, really gaining his wings under him, getting the reps in to become a stronger, powerful wrestler. This match here, it's available on YouTube on the Beyond channel. It's around 24 minutes, but it's a very good match that showcases the story of Wheeler as an underdog. Most of his matches at the time were him coming from the underdog role and position. This was a prime example of that. He did end up winning the Tournament of Tomorrow, which was one of the bigger tournaments in that New England scene, which helps elevate wrestlers. MGF really didn't need help elevating his star power. He was already, as he always says, he's the fastest rising star in professional wrestling. This was a perfect opportunity for a guy like Wheeler to, push him down a peg.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely would recommend that match. Another match, actually from this past year, also on this one's on IWTV, Beyond's Project Dolphin. The current IWTV champion at the time, Lee Moriarty, takes on Wheeler Yuta. 52 minutes of just excellent technical wrestling.
Just a fantastic match. An absolutely fantastic match. But on top of that, like this was a long-term storytelling. Like this was a feud that they had been building up to. They had been building to this match right and proper. Like even outside the fact that these are two exceptional pro wrestlers, they were giving this match all the possible heat in the build up to this. They were fire and water. They were each other's nemesis moving into this. And and this is the wild thing, right? Is as much as Yuta is like an unquestionable babyface, he's extraordinary as a heel. Like he's really good. He's
much better as a heel. Obviously, it tied into some of the stuff we've seen recently from him. His aggressiveness is more of a proactive instead of react nature in AEW. This was Yuta really coming as a full-on, developed wrestler, really becoming more into his character work. This is somebody who was, tired of being overlooked, annoyed. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say, I mean, he had the heelish tendencies. He had the team with Richard Holiday and I forget, Logan Easton LaRue. So they had that, heel group in Beyond. But honestly, this was Yuta just tired of waiting around. And for his opportunity,
and it worked fantastically. And of course, look, I mean, you just say those two names now, and you're like, holy shit, they had a 52-minute match, and they absolutely did have a 52-minute match.
And I will say, I think it was this next match here that we're going to be talking about from IWTV 100, the 60-minute classic between Wheeler Yuta, IWTV champion, and Daniel Garcia. This match right here got the attention of Tony Khan that he didn't wait. He ran this again on Dynamite that Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is another example of two guys. We saw the historic rise of Daniel Garcia over the past 6, 7 months on the independent scene. Really, I would say if you had to look at the two best on the independents at a given time, it was 1A, 1B with Wheeler and Garcia. They were really, going head to head. Granted, this was really their first time head to head one on one, but you could see from a distance they were really focused on one upping one another.
Sure. And
Um,
and it showed in this match too. Like this match was absolutely incredible and a marathon. Like the pace of this match is one of the things that'll just get to you at some point. Of course, they don't go full blast for 60 minutes, right? They
right.
don't. But there is, rest holds and so on and so forth. But the pace of this match is absolutely remarkable and just a thrill from A to Z. Like, you know when you watch a 25-minute match over a certain, stupendous pay-per-view event and it feels like an hour. Well, this is an hour that feels like 25 minutes.
And it's very hard to do that, especially with a match of that length. It's just very hard to keep people interested for a full 60. So they did a very good job keeping the fans not only inside that hot H2O Center in Williamstown, New Jersey, because it was like dead of summer at that point.
That's right. Oh my! Now you remind me. They're just sweating bullets, and the entire show, everyone is cutting promos on how fucking hot it is in the building. Right?
We're fucking hot as shit.
Yeah.
And we can tell they're just sweating bullets. At the end of this match, both of them, I really wish they had each a Gatorade cooler so they could just get dumped with water right on top of them because they needed that to cool down because they sweated a lot.
You needed more than little ice packs, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, no, I remember this was what, no, cause now I doubly remember it because Kevin McElvaney, the editor in chief of PWI, that was the night that PWI recognized the independent title as a world title, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where he showed up, and I remember him telling me afterwards was like it was just sweltering in there. It was insane. Yeah,
made a big mistake.
Yeah,
it was that title and Trish Adora's Pan African
and the
Diaspora.
Pan-African
Yep. So I mean, there's a lot of history in that show. That's also on IWTV. There's a lot of other matches we could choose from. We wanted to give you a little bit taste of his early beginnings with that match against MGF, but really to understand how he's grown as a competitor and you could see what he's done on TV that lines up with this. It's those last few months of him riding on the independents. And I mean, I could also bring up his match against Alex Shelley. That was another good match, but it was also remembered for Shelley's post-match promo about student debt.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have that high and then you have that instant low. But I mean, very good performer. Very happy that he's finally getting some sort of recognition. Tony Khan called it a star-making performance. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. It was just he needed the proper opportunity, and he's finally gotten it.
And and I think we're just we're like Sean said, the idea is if you're here's the thing, like I was joking about it, right? Saying, oh, we knew, we could have been all hipster about it. And that was the joke, right? It was just a bit ultimately, because there's never a wrong time to get on board with a wrestler. There really isn't. If Wheeler Yuta on last Friday's Rampage was the ticket for you, where you're like, okay, he just punched a ticket for me. Good, because that's what it was for, first and foremost. That means the booking worked, first and foremost. But fantastic. If this gets you on board at this point on, great. Now, if you want to have a little fun, you're excited about them, there's a back catalog of great stuff. And like Sean and I pointed out here, just these 3 matches is a great starting point if you want to get more of that awesome Wheeler Yuta taste, who were legitimately very happy.
Yeah, and one thing we'll do, and Warren, I'll give this to you after the show. I'll give you the links so we can throw them in the description if you guys want to jump in and watch.
Good plan. Good plan. I think didn't he had a WWE tryout, right? I'm pretty sure he had.
He had a tryout, but it was almost similar to Statlander, where he never heard back.
And isn't
And
it weird? Like, this is what we also have to keep in mind is last year, 2020, 2021, you have guys like Alex Zane and Anthony Green and Blake Christian. They're all being gobbled up by the Fed, right? They're all just like, blah, 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 blah. Not to say that, we all know 2020 now, 2020 vision, we all know how that turned out, right?
right.
But, it's wild when you think the Fed's taking all of these equally great talents. I mean, Blake Christian is, he's phenomenal and so on and so forth. Then you still have Wheeler, who's out there. He gets a tryout, doesn't get a call back. And sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to why WWE will do stuff like that. But look, they're all back on the indies at this point. It's a moot point I'm trying to make. But still, I think there was an opportunity for him to flourish even more. He and Garcia, as you said, were sort of one-upping each other. Lee as well, Lee Moriarty, with guys like Green and Zane and Christian gone off the indies, who took up a good amount of mind share, if you want to call it that way. It was a good opportunity for Wheeler to spread his own wings, and he did. And I think the payoff is here now.
Before we get into the talk about this weekend shows on the GCW California two-step, I wanted to congratulate Chris Dickinson for getting that full-time deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling, something that he wanted.
He really did. He really did. And you know what, Sean? I know he's entertained offers from other places. I think this is where he's going to flourish. I really do. I don't think as much as I'm sure a ton of people would have loved to see him in AEW, and myself, that's not even a question. I don't think that was the good fit for him. The Fed was definitely not the good fit for him. In New Japan, are you kidding me? This is where he's going to flourish. And if he does get to go, look, we got a G1 coming up. Right?
We got the G1 coming up, and I would be surprised if we didn't see his name in there.
Like they're opening back up, like already this weekend at during the Hyper Battle show. The commentary team was already saying, well, Best of Super Juniors is coming up, and we're opening back up to the world. We're gonna get more competition from elsewhere, right? So I'm like, okay, that's already interesting, and Francesco Akira was added into the mix already. So obviously, and they announced the G1 this weekend as well. So I'm like, okay, I think this is an easy shoe, and this is a 1+1 situation where you have Dickinson come in, and you know what? Look, maybe I'm going too far already in this, but I'm booking the G1. I give Dickinson a Mox-esque kind of ride that John Moxley had 2 years ago when he did the G1, which was I think he suffered like 3 losses. But like, you want to establish the guy, another top level gaijin that you can bring in and just like let him clean house. There you go. I'm really stoked for Dickinson. I think it's great. Good for him. And that's where he's going to flourish. I can't wait for him versus Shingo. Can't wait for him versus Great O'Khan. Are you kidding me?
I'd be if I was Great O'Khan, I'd be scared, personally.
Great O'Khan is but he's got it in. He has an in with the cops now, with the police, so he can just like call in a favor, maybe have Dickinson arrested before a show or something.
Wonderful. Oh, sorry, Chris Dickinson couldn't attend this show because
he was arrested for littering.
He missed the garbage can. He accidentally put plastic in the garbage instead of recycling. Yeah.
You gotta be careful about that. They're serious about that shit.
Another thing we are very serious about is GCW this weekend. 2 shows in California, including their Bay Area debut on Sunday. But we're going to start with their Saturday show, Paranoid, which started off with Joey Janela making a surprise appearance. Let's just go back a little bit before we go on the shows. Brett Lauderdale did put out a tweet mentioning that this was a terrible travel weekend for
Yeah.
GCW. And it seems, been reading about certain airlines giving up their COVID mandate and then their staff getting COVID. So lack of
Shocking.
staff. Yeah, see how
Imagine
that
that.
crazy how that all goes together. But anyway, so a lot of to Brett's point, a lot of cancellations, deplaning, weather. I know in New Jersey, there was some bad storms in the area, and that's where a lot of the talent comes out of. So obviously a very tough go, but GCW gave still a very strong effort. Joey tweeted out Sunday before the San Francisco show that he skipped his friend's wedding just so he could get out there to make sure he didn't, because his Sunday flight was canceled or his late
Yeah.
Saturday. Paid $1,500 out of his own pocket just so he could make sure that he was there for Sunday. And to reward him for getting out there, he opened the show on Saturday against Gringo Loco. A very fun opener. I mean, Joey's still showing his dickish character, which I think honestly fits him based on, him having the chip on his shoulder, him thinking that he helped save the independent scene when it was down. And this works for me, his new character.
There's nothing better than a heel who's right. Now, I'm
It's
not
it's
saying
weird, right?
I'm not saying no, but honest, like I love a heel that makes valid points. Like to me, that is the best type of heel because then you're like, you son of a bitch, I'm supposed to stop being right. I hate you, and it makes you hate. I think it makes you hate him more. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and opine that the independents were saved by Joey Janela, but Joey Janela has his influence in making the independent circuit healthy, strong, particularly GCW, right? I think his influence is undeniable. Is it a single-handed thing? No. But I think, I think he's not entirely wrong. How about that?
I
What
mean,
do you
he's
think?
not. I don't think he's entirely wrong. And if you look at it even from a closer perspective of where he's talking about most of this stuff in GCW, he with his spring break events and some of his other themed events made GCW into what it is now. And I know you have guys like Cardona coming in saying that he made GCW, but it's really Janela if you think about it.
Sure.
Janela put out all those hit shows,
Well, I
carried
mean,
a.
I think there's I think the spring break shows
Mhm.
helped define the early ones, helped define even what GCW was.
It helped out a lot of that. And I mean, also, if you look at Joey from a talent scout perspective on the indies, help, bring in some of these guys that you see on GCW, like a Ninja Mac, a Dante Leon, Nick Wayne. And I mean, I can gush about his match against Nick and Defy throughout the entire course of the show, but I mean, that's not the point of this. The point is, Joey is really taking it on himself to make the indies as best as they can be
Viable,
for
a viable option to
right.
getting signed, and you really do have to appreciate that.
You do, and I mean, there's the definite grind, and he's gonna start grinding. He's already booked himself over in the UK. Let's see where else it brings him. Certain guys like Alex Cologne. Cologne's right now in Australia working out over there with Joel Bateman for a death match down under. Then he comes back to the States for the Cleveland and the Columbus and Detroit show, and then goes back to the UK. So like a lot of stuff is going on right now for a lot of the guys that were in GCW. They get to spread their wings a little bit with the, everything reopening. But no, I mean, I think Joey paved the way for some of these guys
Yeah.
that were kind of almost pigeonholed in the fact that they were in GCW, but like now you see what they can do as wrestlers, and it's fair enough to say that they're really undeniable on the indies.
and
To
and and I think his, I think you make a really good point when you talk about his eye for talent, and keeping up with trends. How I think he's got a good idea of what the audience really likes, because a couple of years ago he was really into the irony wrestling, right? And just like a lot of people were, and we talked about, I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, but all the, the irony wrestlers who aren't around anymore, like that sort of past. So what are we moving on to? Oh, well, a little more work rate, right? A little more pizzazz, a little something, something that people can really sink their teeth into. Like even Spring Break this year wasn't as goofy a show as the first couple ones were, but he gets and he's like, okay, well, let's do the clusterfuck, because at this point, everyone knows what to expect out of it. It's like it's an event at this point. It's just something everyone comes to expect, but it's it's no longer irony wrestling. I don't know how else to call it, but.
Right, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the whole, obviously, with the clusterfuck, that's the irony aspect of it. A lot of callbacks to some of the previous irony points with the social distancing match between him and Jimmy. Certain things like that. Like I think the clusterfuck is a perfect opportunity for stuff like that, just to have fun, let loose and stuff like that. But like Joey understands now. I think AEW in a way helped him realize, like, if he wants to do this and he wants to be any way successful at this, he has to take a lot of this stuff seriously. And I mean, yes, he's taken the talent search a lot more seriously. I think that was his best asset prior to signing with AEW, but now he has that, plus him turning it up a notch in ring.
I agree. Like this match here with El Gringo Loco, which I really liked. I thought it was a very hot opener. Wasn't sure what to expect out of it, but I thought it was very, very good. There was some great back and forth. And we had doors and everything, and the springboard moonsault by Loco. I think that's always great. He did it through the door on top of that on this one here, and of course, and then there's that wild second rope poison Rana by Janela, which almost felt like it wasn't supposed to work, but it did. Like, I don't know, like it just looked really, really brutal. Thankfully, everyone was okay, and I like it. The X Factor got the win here, so fuck you, Sean.
I like Waltman. That too. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a little bit more play on that, and Waltman did wrestle with a torn bicep that he had happen prior to this match. But God, I mean, let's see what happens. I don't think Sean's done wrestling as much as he wants it to be. I don't think so either. So we go into this next match, and we have a nice little Extreme title match between AJ Gray, the current champion, against Kevin Blackwood. I love seeing Blackwood more on these GCW shows, especially the LA shows. I understand, he's based out of there. It's easier for them to bring him in, but give me more Kevin Blackwood.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate what I've been seeing from him lately.
Had a great, I thought both guys had a great, strong match with each other here. Blackwood had that great Avalanche Exploder, Shining Wizard Tombstone sequence, which I popped out for. I was like, oh, okay, that was great. And then, AJ Gray hits him with a lariat as a response, covers, and he kicks out at one. It's like, okay, you're kicking out at one out of an AJ Gray lariat. Okay, buddy. Okay,
Sure.
No, this was, I liked this match a lot. I thought this was, I really didn't know what to expect. Especially, because we talked about it last week. I think we both thought AJ Gray's WrestleMania weekend was very so-so.
Mm-hmm.
Aside maybe from the Moxley match, which I really liked. I thought it was good. But I think, we felt that his WrestleMania weekend was so-so. But, I think whatever happened that weekend was a moment in time, because he's back here. And both nights, well, he wasn't really involved in the second night. What am I talking about?
He was in the 6-man. But
he was in the 6-man. Because I was thinking of the interference.
Sure.
But no, I thought this was a very good match. I thought very strong match by both guys.
Yeah, and like I said, I really feel like this is rehabbing is the wrong word, but reestablishing is what I'm looking for Kevin Blackwood as, a premier talent. Like we mentioned previously, him moving to the West Coast has been a blessing for him. I
I
think
think so
just
too.
like change of scenery, a reset, so to speak. And he's flourished in the opportunities as he's been getting not only in GCW but West Coast Pro, which we'll talk about a little bit later
And
on in the show.
prestige.
Prestige too, yeah. So he's getting those opportunities, and I think a PWG show here and there too. So he's getting a little bit more looks,
Look,
which is nice.
he's smart. He's one of the Buffalo boys, right?
Yeah.
So he's smart. He's seen what happened to his pals. And look, this is what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. I don't want to do an apples to apples comparison, right? Because there's clear different path, very different paths that were taken here. But if we're talking about Wheeler Yuta being on an independent scene, that suddenly all the guys are being scooped up, and you're like one of the guys who's left is like, okay, well, I'm going to make the most out of this opportunity. Well, it's the same thing with Blackwood here. His buddy, Garcia, is signed, and Moriarty and Yuta, like all these guys now, they're gone.
Mhm.
Sure, the Alex Zanes and so on and so forth are back, but there's room for a guy like Kevin Blackwood if he wants to take it, and I'm pretty sure he does.
It does look like he wants to take it. So he's taking it with flying colors. Another person that I think
Emo
has really,
colors.
he's yeah, emo colors. Another guy who's really taken a little bit more of the attention to him was Jack Cartwheel. He faced Chris Bay here. I think, Cartwheel had some pretty decent moments during the collective. He's still relatively young. He's still, figuring everything himself out about what, works for him. I think his Johnny Caballero match really helped guide him into the wrestler that he wants to be because I think Chris Bay and him had a really good match here.
I
It's
do
nice to
too.
see. It's really nice to see Bay show up every now and then to GCW and really put on these performances. And this was a performance I think they meshed well with one another. The early going with them just exchanging cartwheels in the beginning was pretty good. Like I think both of them were shocked just how athletic each other are.
I'm with you. I really like this match too. I really like Chris Bay. I really like Chris Bay, and I think like Impact is a double-edged sword for him because I think right now it's doing him a lot of good with the being a part of Bullet Club. That would not have happened without the Impact Association, but him being a part of Bullet Club, being able to wear the Bullet Club patch, on the
Mhm.
independents, and then you've got commentary putting it over at the same time. It's like, all right, this is all great. This is all cool, but it, I feel like he has. I feel like he's much more chill in his execution. I think it's still very good, still very crisp, but I feel like there's a difference. But the pressure's different, of course, if you're performing for television as opposed to a room full of 400 people streaming on Fight. It's not the same type of pressure that's there, but I really liked it. I thought it was great. Another good one. Cartwheel at some point he catches, like, this is the thing, and Cartwheel is a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
like you were saying, and I think that more and more as he keeps going, we're going to see him really zone in into what he wants to be, because he can do the high flying things and so on and so forth. But when you see him catch Chris Bay off of a dive, right, catches him, pops him up onto his shoulders, just like whomp, pops him up, and then DVDs him. You're like, okay, well, this guy cartwheels, but he's fucking strong. This is a strong gentleman, and I think that's also one of his, if not his principal, most impressive strength, in my opinion, right?
I just think seeing him really burst on the scene. This was a Jimmy Lloyd find, believe it or not.
Really?
Jimmy
Okay.
Lloyd's also another him and Janelle are both good eyes for talent. I think Jimmy, helped find this. And for me, seeing Cartwheel start now, I think he put pressure on himself because, obviously GCW, but then putting on some of those performances that he did in LA fights really helped reestablish himself too. And like I said, the Johnny Caballero match at World on Lucha really just gave him the opportunity to showcase what he can do and also showcase that attribute that I think he was hesitant to show, which is his strength, as alluded to with some of the moves that he saw here. Very good match. And then we had our typical GCW Scramble match, which included Dark Sheik, B-Boy, Damian Drake, Jimmy Lloyd, Jordan Oliver, and Lucas Riley. Okay, it was Dark Sheik wins. It's a scramble match, and I honestly I feel seeing some of these people on here is a waste of their time, and honestly, I understand everyone wants a spot on the card, but I feel Jordan Oliver, Jimmy Lloyd, Dark Sheik, even B-Boy, they could have been doing something else on this show.
Especially B-Boy, local legend, right? Local babyface. B-Boy, you really could have done.
The face behind LA Fights, B-Boy, we could have done something a little bit better with him. We then go to a quick 15-minute intermission, and we come back with the GCW tag titles, the Briscoes against Bussy of Ali and Effie. This was fine. I enjoyed Ali handling her own against the Briscoes, who don't seem to care who you are. You're going to get hit the same way.
Yeah.
But this, I think what happened was this one a little.
Jay at first, right? He was kind of like, he was going in on her, but she was like, no, come on, brother, do it. It's like I appreciate that little moment at first where Jay's like, and she's like, no, bring it, and then he goes, are you sure? Are you sure you want? And she's like, yeah, bring it. So, but that was cool. Yes, just to piggyback off
that was cool. I feel like this match went a little too long for my liking.
Yeah, me too.
I would have shaved it maybe 2-3 minutes, and I think we would have gotten some of the same results here. I think we're going to see an SGC Briscoe feud as Justice and Warner came out and kind of helped Effie and Ali win the tag titles. So I think we're going to get those two feuding without the titles maybe as soon as the next set of shows. But it is an interesting development with now the title is changing hands in a little over a week and a day. So I really do like those new tag belts that GCW have. I mean, it's better than the 80s looking territory belts that they were carrying for once they got them back.
I like them too. Should we talk about the discourse?
Let's talk about it. Go ahead. Let's talk about it.
A lot of people mad that Bussy won the titles. Winning against the Briscoes, and I'm, and I don't understand. I honestly, because I saw a wave of disgust, hatred, I guess, but I'm like, this is what I think. I sincerely believe that everyone who complained that Bussy won the titles do not watch GCW. They don't, because
they're not regular watchers.
Because if you watch GCW, you're like, well, of course. And it was time. It was time for Ali and Effie to just get the straps around their waist. That's fine. It makes perfect sense. Now, let's say we take this in a wider lens. Is this weird? Are a lot of people getting up in arms because they were just exposed to FTR and the Briscoes just a couple of weeks ago? And they're like, the Briscoes, holy shit, they just had, one of the greatest matches of all time. And now they're losing to Irony wrestlers? Which, you know what, I'm not saying that.
I understand what you mean. I mean...
Because I love Effie and Ali Catch, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I think they're I love both of them. I've gushed on Effie more than enough here. which is weird to say, but y'all know what I meant.
Pause.
But I mean, I'm convinced, like, this is what's frustrating about hanging out in public discourse areas like Twitter, where just everyone comes in and is like, they're like, just reacting off of shit that they're not even watching, that they're not even involved in. And you're like, what? Why are you even here? Now, I can probably appreciate that a guy like Effie, and even Ali, they see this shit and it's like, that's fine. We're working them. It's cool.
Yeah.
They're getting mad. We're getting reactions. That's fine, you know. But it's sincerely dumbfounding to see anyone get mad at this type of decision who watches the show, who watches GCW and understands how things happen there. To me, it just boggles my mind.
It also, I mean, this discourse has been going on with Ali in particular, I would say, since the end of last year, early this year, since she's been getting a slew of wins against like a Thunder Rosa or Mercedes Martinez, Jordan Grace, getting opportunities against Ruby Soho and Mickey James, those type of things. Like, people have a lot of opinions about her getting thrown into those positions. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think it's great for her because, you know, this is helping her become the wrestler that she wants to be.
No, go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Because that's the thing. Look, because this is the thing. You know, you want to talk about a double standard, Sean? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Everyone going, oh my God, Nick Wayne. He's fighting... Look at him go. He's fighting ACH this week. And he fought so-and-so. Like, all these big timers, right? Big time, big name wrestlers. And everyone's like, this is how he's going to... Imagine how great he's going to be fighting all of these guys. And then you go with Ali.
Doing the
who
same
is fighting the cream of the crop of women's wrestling. And people are like, when is she getting these opportunities? And I understand that there's a large contingent of alley catch hate, but how the fuck do you expect alley catch to get better if she doesn't share the ring with people on that level? And this goes for anyone in wrestling, anyone at all. You have them fight the top people, regardless, they will naturally improve. That's why they have the young lions in New Japan do the prelim shows against the dads, against, you know, LIJ B team, against, you know, so on and so forth.
Sure.
So that they can learn on the spot with people who are up, who've been doing this for a while. Higher on the card, higher in experience.
And I will say, if you look at her from the Mercedes Martinez match to now, totally different wrestler.
Totally, completely different. Her best, she had the best match of her career against Jordan Grace at Astronaut a couple of, a month and a half ago. I will die on that hill. And she has plenty more in her, and she's going to prove us wrong, Sean. She's going to prove us wrong. At some point, it's going to be like, it's not going to be the Jordan Grace match anymore. It's going to be something else.
No. She had a really good match against Laney Luck during the Glory Pro show, the submission match. And, you know, all, references aside to the Trish Stratus, Mickey James feud, I enjoyed the Mickey James match. I think it was a good progression for her. And I think, you know, I'm excited to see what's next for her. It's great to see her with the tag titles with her, you know, partner in life in Effie. And honestly, I don't know, you know, where is it going to go from here? Only up. I know Effie has some thoughts about a certain cowboy from Tennessee that we'll get into in a few minutes.
Don't we all?
Yeah. But we jump into this next match here. Chris Dickinson takes on Masha Slamovich, which, Masha just does everything right. I mean, I really don't have anything bad to say about Masha. I gush about her. You gush about her. The internet gushes about her. Um, Ever since she came back from Japan early last year, I think it
Yeah.
was, or
Yep.
2020, one of the
Hmm.
two. It's just been an upward trajectory for her, getting these opportunities to showcase her overall style. I mean, she does it all. She does like the, strong style. She does your hybrid style. She does deathmatch style, submission. She'll do a little bit of everything. She's big on wanting to get herself over as a hybrid wrestler. And I mean,
It's
this had a
working.
little bit of, yeah, it's working very well. This had a little bit of the technical side, but also she wasn't backing down from the strikes that Dickinson was giving her.
I'm telling you, Sean, Masha is the best wrestler on the independent circuit right now. She is the most well-rounded. She works
Mhm.
every weekend, and she works hard
She
every
does.
weekend. Yeah, like
You'll get
every
a, yeah.
match is like her life depends on it. Every match she does. I
She
can't
lays
say
it out there.
enough. It's redundant. My Masha Slamovich analysis is redundant at this point.
Yeah, I
She's in
mean, we
this
could
match.
say,
Look, and I'll tell you, this is the testament. This is the testament here. She gets beat. She gets the hell, Christ. She gets the shit beat out of her by
mhm.
Dickinson. Hits her with the Falcon Arrow. Covers. She kicks out at one with the face now, right?
The
No, she
fighting
doesn't. He
spirit.
doesn't cover her. She just sits
No,
up. She does an
yeah,
Undertaker sit up, right? With the face, which is now a meme. But everyone buys it. It's not like, oh, of course. Everyone's like, yeah. Yes, she
everyone,
kicks out at
starts
one.
believing her, and everyone starts, to feel something because of the emotion she brings you after when she does all this. And I mean, I feel like the next time we cover a Masha Slamovich match, which will probably be next episode, because come on, we can just put in pre-recorded comments because they'll be
We'll
the same.
rerun this.
Yeah,
We'll rerun
she
this.
faced the Kirks with Akira.
Yeah.
We'll just do our best to make sure that we talk about the right opponents and we don't say Dickinson by accident. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know,
it's
man.
great to see Chris back. It's
Yes,
also
don't get us
great to,
wrong, right?
yeah. I mean, Dickinson is known for not taking it easy on whoever he's facing, guy or girl, just as Kimberly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but he's somebody who has the intensity, and Masha is somebody that can match that intensity. I think over intensified against Dickinson too, which I think surprised him.
I really think Masha, she's low key taking over right now. Like the indies
Yeah,
are hers. She goes wherever and she
she
just
does
delivers
whatever.
brilliantly every time.
I
She's
mean, I know
fantastic.
she is in Impact, but I feel like all she is doing is like squash matches.
She has and the hairdo. That's all I know.
Yeah, the squash matches and the hairdo, like this is what you should be doing with her. You can make her this crazy, lunatic, which she showcases here, but like just give her something.
Just give her
I mean,
something.
I
I
honestly
agree.
Impact's floundering with her. Somebody that isn't floundering on the indies, Nick Wayne. He had a very good match here with ACH. Obviously, ACH wasn't going to lose here. I feel like Nick Wayne could have probably won this match, in my
Sure.
opinion. I'm not mad with ACH. It's great seeing ACH. I felt like it was kind of surprising that we really didn't see him anywhere during WrestleMania weekend. But like at the same time too, like every now and then it's good to see ACH back on the independents and wrestling. So it was a good showcase here. Nick's just getting better and better. I mean,
Oh, Nick is ridiculous. Like
I
the
I
guy's a
feel like
sponge.
that. Yeah, I feel like the conversation that we have about Masha, we can say the same stuff week after week about Nick. He's getting better with each match that he's putting in. He's only 16. And I know on the Discord when we were watching the Sunday show, you said imagine him at 20. Just imagine him at 18 when he's eligible to wrestle in AEW.
He's gonna be bananas. Like
Yeah.
this kid has a brilliant future in front of him. I think you might have liked this match more than I did. And it's weird because these are two wrestlers that I really like. I felt it didn't click, and I feel like there's a whole stretch in this match where it's like we're trying stuff, but it's not working, and I don't know if it was like it didn't gel, and I felt it. I felt it dragged at times. Good final third, but I felt like at some point it was really low energy. Kind of expected more. It was fine, but not what I was expecting from these two dudes. Let's put it that way.
That's fair. And then our main event is U.S. independent superstar Minoru Suzuki taking on Blake Christian. If I didn't see Sunday's show, I would say this was a really good match. But and don't get me wrong, it was just Suzuki's greatest hits.
Well, exactly. I'm in complete agreement, and I think we'll save the final commentary on Minoru Suzuki when we talk about the Devil in the New Dress show. But I felt Paranoid was a very top heavy show, or bottom heavy show, I should say, and it sort of it started losing steam. I think the only exception would be the Masha Dickinson match, which I thought was great. But like we said, the tag team titles match was fine.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like the most compelling thing. You lose me at scrambles, I'd say 75% of the time.
Unless you're there.
Unless I'm there. But I'm not a big scramble guy. And I thought ACH Nick Wayne was low energy, and Blake Christian and Minoru Suzuki didn't do it for me. But I entirely blame this on me watching too much wrestling during WrestleMania weekend, and seeing the Minoru Suzuki U.S. Indies formula over and over and over and over again, and it popped its head here,
Yeah,
and again, these are two wrestlers that I love. I love Blake Christian. Minoru Suzuki, what is there not to like? It's just, I don't know.
I almost feel too as if Blake wanted to do more, and Minoru was like, "I'm working twice this weekend, brother."
Could be.
And so and I also feel like with the amount of work that Minoru's put in and the amount of New Japan of America dates that he's putting in, he's saving those shows for New Japan to be, typical Minoru Suzuki. Whereas he wasn't working as many indie shows his first return to the US.
True.
So you saw him work a little bit harder. Like that Janela match that he had in Atlantic City back in October, November of last year was a very good match. But I feel, the number of dates that he's worked so far in the States, especially on the independents, he's saving some of his energy for future shows. And one show that he did save his energy for is GCW Devil in New Dress on Sunday, April 10th. We start off with Effie in the ring, getting ready to really talk about Jeff Jarrett here. So over the course of the week, there was part one of a vignette that aired showcasing Jeff Jarrett. And then Monday or Tuesday after the collective, second part came where Jarrett was in his house with his family and came face to face. Who knocked at his door but Effie. So this isn't over yet. And I'm excited for this. But before we get more into that, Nick Wayne comes out. He was supposed to face Bandito. Bandito was one of the wrestlers that had some travel issues on Sunday getting to the GCW show, which is unfortunate. Biff Busick being another.
Which is also,
but I think
also unfortunate.
Yeah. I think, Effie and Wayne had a serviceable match here. It was quick and to the point.
Nothing
Effie
groundbreaking. It was
fun.
nothing.
Greatest hits from Effie, greatest hits from Wayne here. Just,
Yep.
I think, the post-match here was what everyone was waiting for, where Effie really is now putting the ball in Jeff Jarrett's court to come back whenever Jeff's ready to come back and face Effie one-on-one. Um, I'm personally excited because now this takes the whole Hammerstein outcome into a different perspective for me, and it really showcases that there is more to tell from this story.
They had to do this, right? Like there had to be a second one, a redemption for Effie, because it's still the weirdest decision, I think, from the entire Hammerstein show, to have Jeff Jarrett go over beloved GCW OG, well, maybe not OG, but regular Effie.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, there, like I said, that show with the stretch of 3 matches, including the Effie match, was just a strange, fever dream for
Yeah.
GCW fans. But it's good to see that this isn't over and we're going to continue with it. Another, I think, my personal match in the night here, Jordan Oliver and Jack Cartwheel. God damn.
I can't blame you.
What are
Oliver we doing with what about our shtick, Sean? What about our shtick about Jordan Oliver? Why is he intent on proving us wrong, Sean?
Prove me wrong. I love it. Because he's
but I'm gonna have to find another bit.
I'm sure we can find another wrestler. But I mean, here is somebody that gelled with their opponent, and both of them, like Cartwheel and Oliver, gelled with one another. I did love that little move off the turn on the ropes, bounced into a power bomb. That was
How many wrestlers do you think are going to try and do that move now?
I'm sure we'll see it Wednesday on Dynamite. Kyle O'Reilly and Jungle Boy will do that.
But it was so smooth. Like it was.
It just transitioned very well.
Flawless.
Like I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it just went in one single move transition. I honestly feel like Oliver has stepped up his game a lot. I feel as if you're seeing him become what everyone claims him to be in the East Coast Ace. I feel like he has a little bit more to go, but these last few weeks for Oliver have been nothing but impressive.
And look, the 2 weeks ago he's having a match with Speedball Bailey, and I'm and it's my match of the night. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Goading Jordan Oliver. What's wrong with me? Kind of thing.
Right.
And now he had a fantastic match with Jack Cartwheel, one that I'm objectively. So even if you wanted to sit around and go, well, at Spring Break 2, he was carried by Speedball, obviously, who is a much superior wrestler and could get a good match out of his sack of shit, kind of thing. Cartwheel, I don't think is at the stage of his career where, you just pop him in the ring with anyone and he has a 5-star classic with. This was well worked by both guys. Both guys worked really hard, and a definitely highly entertaining match. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna have my Jordan Oliver bit is not gonna work anymore.
No, we gotta find somebody else. And then there was Jimmy Lloyd. No, I'm kidding. And then we go into our next match here, which was Alley Catch taking on a surprise here in Kid Bandit. Obviously, we know Kid Bandit. He was at Big A Brunch. He is all over the wrestling world right now, trained by the Nightmare family here.
And it shows.
It shows.
It shows.
He was very flawless and clean with some of his moves. The stuff that he does in the ring impresses me, just his kick style. I know he takes and bases most of his moveset off of anime that he watches, but you know what? It works.
Whatever gets you over, pal, right? I mean, it works for me. I'm okay. I know it irritates a lot of. Of course, it's always going to irritate the same people, right? It doesn't bother me. I think wasn't a perfect match by any stretch of the imagination, but wasn't a rotten one either. Far from it. I enjoyed it. I think it shows. I think he has very good fun. He has very good. It is he. Yeah, he goes by three, all three pronouns, right? He, she, they. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Believe so. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. And Bandit has really solid fundamentals, and that's why I say it shows that he's trained at the Nightmare Factory, because his basis, his foundations are there. Like, he throws a strike, he throws a kick, it looks good, it makes sense, it's done well. You know, we've seen like top tier professional wrestlers who can't throw a working punch for the life of them, you know? So
right.
It's like his fundamentals are there. Then when he starts bringing up the flashier stuff, you're like, all right, this is cool. And that's where it's a little more hit and miss. But he's on the independents. He's living a dream. This is another guy who's going to grow, and he's going to grow more and more as he gets to wrestle more and more at the same time. So, and what an endearing human being. You got to cheer for the good humans. You really do.
Definitely do. And I mean, Bandit is just one of those people that the minute they come out and their music hits and they come out to the ring, everyone is excited to see. Like, that crowd ate Bandit up, and I was, you know,
Hey,
and I know
he even got the Masha Slamovich seal of approval. She called him a gremlin.
That's all you needed to hear.
That's all you needed to hear.
That's the approval that Bandit needed. And speaking of gremlins, Jimmy Lloyd and Masha Slamovich
King of the
faced off faced off against one another in. I feel bad for Masha. She had this big weekend, her and Biff.
But we'll get it in Beyond.
We will. We'll get it in Beyond, or we'll get it in a future GCW show. I'm not too worried about that. But, you know, Jimmy, when asked to step in and take place where someone steps up. And I feel like, you know, he's the GCW punching bag. Like, you put him in anything to get the shit kicked out of him, he'll do it, and he'll get the shit kicked out of him very good. This was a match that showcased that he was ready to get the shit kicked out of him.
I mean, look, the guy takes a chair shot right on the dome, you know, and a tornado DDT on the floor, and he blades. Like, for a replacement guy, you know, it's like, okay, you know, he is going all in on it, right? And he eats a pile driver on chairs. Come on, man. He didn't have, you know, he could have been just like, well, I'll do you this favor, Brett.
Yeah,
I'll jump in, Brett. You know?
Anytime he is asked to step in and, you know, take over or, you know, be a replacement, he gives you 100%. And this one, I mean, he was there to get the shit kicked out of him, and he sold it like a pro. I mean,
he did.
Just a brutal match between the two of them. Masha did get the win, which was very nice to see. Another very nice surprise was Titus Alexander and Midas Creed, a rematch from LA Fights 1. I can't say enough nice things about Titus too. I think, you know, he's a very good up-and-coming wrestler out of the West Coast, and especially in the North California scene in the Bay Area. I mean, he is a staple at West Coast Pro. So it was nice to see him getting that representation out for GCW in a spot match for him. You know, they needed bodies. He jumped in and took the advantage of it. I mean, Titus has a lot of good things coming his way.
He's a very good heel. He's already a very, very good heel, and not in an aggressive type heel. You know, because we do see a lot of, you know, chicken shit heels. You know, a la MJF, you know, and stuff like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very good at being one of these dastardly, sneaky, but, you know, very confrontational heels. I think he's very, very good at what he does. I you know, one of the, we've talked about this in the past. You know, I think one of the marks of success that really helps the wrestlers when they're able to identify themselves, who they are in the ring, the confidence then that they exude goes a long way with an audience.
Right.
And I think Titus is already there. I think he already has a good grasp of what he wants to be, who he wants to be. Very interesting stuff. I dug the match. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for some fill-in match, both Titus and Creed did very good
Very, very good.
jumping into the last-minute opportunity. We then go into our six-man tag team match. The second gear crew of AJ Gray, Mance Warner, and Matthew Justice take on the South Pacific Savages of Journey Fatu and Juicy Finau. And unfortunately, Jacob Fatu couldn't make it. So in comes D-Rogue, who is the honorary oos of this match. This was just a brawl all over the ring,
Exactly
honestly.
what you expected. Like,
Yeah, and I think D-Rogue maybe didn't expect it at first, but then he became very comfortable with what he was getting. Um, and honestly, I honestly thought I was seeing double when I thought that was Rikishi in the ring when I first saw Journey.
right?
Yeah,
It's really ridiculous. You can tell they're all family. Like you really can. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how similar in facial features they are. All of the Fatus. It's ridiculous just how striking it is every time.
it is. I mean, it was nice to see D-Rogue step up to the plate, and he's another LA Fights regular. But he jumped in and had a really good showing here too. I mean, this is a guy that's a West Coast Pro, regular part of the conglomerate group in West Coast Pro. Honestly, here I feel like this was just like a show for a second gear crew, getting them a victory here. uh, Journey and Juicy didn't like the finish of the match, so they took it out on D-Rogue. So I'm hoping for a little bit more out of that in the future. But it served its purpose. It got the crowd back into it. They were excited. Brett wasn't excited, I'm sure, about the chair bill, but hey, this is what you get.
You know what I really the moment that popped me was when Juicy was teasing to do a dive or a Topican heel over or something.
Sure.
And Mance Warner
Man,
hits the bricks, right? And he grabs a microphone. He says, I already have one robot leg. I ain't catching shit.
yeah, that was a really good moment in the match, and I think everyone in the ring really got popped
Yeah,
out of
that
that.
was really good. That was
Yeah,
Mance
that
is
was
like, no, 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 no,
yeah. I'm not doing this. No, no, thank
you,
you. Fuck off with that idea. No, not at all. And then we got one half of our double main event here. I mean, this was a homecoming for Dark Sheik here. Her and the manager champions Polo de Mar, and against Joey Janela. And this was a very good pace. It was paced kind of slow, but it kind of built up to a lot of fun near the end. Like the first two-thirds of the match were very slow and methodical, and I think it for me at least it didn't take away from the overall of the match. And then really near the end, it picked up the pace. I got jumped out of my seat when Polo did the power bomb through the door on Joey. I think which surprised even her that she could even do something like that. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this match. This was another match that the crowd was really heavily in for Dark Sheik.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, because Joey Janela's his in ring personality is so toxic now. Like
Yeah.
that's what's really dope. Um, and I agree with you with how the match was paced. This was paced. This was a heel pace. Like we like to joke around on the Discord how it's like it was a Memphis like match, but but that's like this was it. This was one of those where I mean the heel would always call the match
Hmm.
back in the days, and so but this was entirely paced for Joey to take his time, uh, get the heat, build up to the big babyface comeback, which we got, and the win on top of that, which is a big deal for Dark Sheik with this Joey Janela persona right now. I think this is a sign for something big coming up for Sheik at this point, because wins the scramble. Because I thought, oh, she's winning the scramble on Saturday, she's losing to Janela on Sunday, but no, she like 2-0 over the weekend, so that's a big deal. But
Very big deal.
honestly, and I'm not taking anything away from Dark Sheik, because I like her, and you know, even had the chance to interview her, and she's wonderful, just a really nice person. Not taking anything away from her, but I think the success of this match really laid into Joey Janela being a toxic, egotistical dick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, this Sheik recently has been becoming more of a GCW regular. I think, you know, this is also a reward for her, you know, coming up to
Sure.
more shows, because prior to that, besides like bigger weekends and stuff like that, she was primarily West Coast. So now you're seeing her flying out and coming to shows in Atlantic City. You're seeing her do like the Midwest
She's
runs
breaking
that
out
they
a little
do.
more. I agree. I
Yeah,
think
and it's
she's
nice to
getting around a
see.
little more.
Um,
I really like her Alabama Jam. I think it's becoming one of the moves that I'm most looking forward to.
yeah,
I
me
really
too.
like it. Where it's like, ooh, here he comes, you know, kind of thing. I'm, you know, one of these signature moves that you get excited to see. And I think she does it well. I think it's a good fit for her.
I think so too. And I mean, honestly, you know, Joey knows how to. When Joey has his working boots on, he can carry anyone to a very good match. And I'm not saying that Sheik needed it, but it was good to see with Joey working in that pace that, you know, she could manage and work that pace along with them. Because sometimes working a slower pace for some could, you know, throw them off a little bit. But I feel like Sheik benefited from a pace like that.
I agree. And I completely agree. And you know, talking, you know, we could rename this episode, you know, the Joey Janela Love Fest at this point. But I really, because that's all that's been the theme of the show, how great Joey has been. But he really has, and outside of this weekend as well, you know, it sucks that he lost his steady paycheck from Jacksonville, but.
Mhm.
Sometimes, you know, that kind of stuff happens and it gives you the kick in the pants that you need. Janela is in better shape than he has been in his entire career. Like he didn't look this good when he was doing CZW stuff. You know, he looks fantastic. He really does. Like, he's in shape and he has been bringing the work. He has been in there doing the reps, and I think there's a bit of, maybe like you said earlier, right? Bit of a slight reinvention where it's like, look, if you want this to work, you really have to take this seriously. And I think he's going to take it seriously, but in a very Joey Janela kind of way.
I think so too. And I mean, it's great seeing Joey back on the indies. I think that kind of grind in life benefit him. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And then for our main event here, goddamn, Speedball Mike motherfucking Bailey taking on Minoru Suzuki in a New Japan Suzuki match. I honestly was surprised that, you know, I'm not surprised that it took Bailey, because I'm pretty sure Suzuki is paying attention to what's been going on, especially since Bailey's been showing up in New Japan. He had that match with Jay White and stuff like that. But honestly, if there's one person that could get a Suzuki match out of Suzuki on the U.S. Indies, it's Bailey. Really took a lot of Bailey's offense, which surprised me. The forearm kick back and forth that they had in the final half of that match, god damn. Those kicks, and you seeing Suzuki really jump backwards to take it so it doesn't, I guess, affect him that much, but still affected him enough that he reacted the way he did. Was very good, but like,
and there's spots sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There's spots that I wasn't expecting Suzuki to take either. Like, he took the shooting star knees, the standing shooting star knees. He took him right on the chest. I was convinced he wasn't gonna. I would 100% convinced he was gonna roll out of the way, but he took it. And I think that was the comment we both had when the match was in it. As I think you typed it out, and I think I was about to do it. It was like, I think Bailey got the best Suzuki match, the best match out of Suzuki this stretch on the indies, and I completely agree. I think this was it. As much as we enjoyed Dickinson versus Suzuki at Bloodsport, this was much better. It was not the formula. It was not the Suzuki formula that we saw just the night before with Blake Christian. And maybe that's, yeah. And so I was pleasantly surprised when all this happened. But I think this is a testament to Minoru Suzuki going, I like you, kid.
Yeah, and
because he took the shit. And Minoru Suzuki, at the end of every one of his goddamn matches, he will never shake a hand. He'll be like, get the fuck out of my ring so that people will sing my theme song, kind of thing. You know, it's like, get out of my ring. He'll, you know, one more young boy, you know, fuck you, young boy, or whatever, you know, because he did that to Blake Christian. He said, fuck you! And he, you know, he hit the bricks. But what did he do with Mike Bailey? Dragged him up off his ass, because Bailey thought, after the match, Bailey thought he was going to come after him some more. Grabs his arm, drags him to the middle of the ring, raises his arm, points at him, pats him on the back, and he leaves. He leaves the ring to Bailey. That's an endorsement.
That's a big endorsement if I ever saw one, and I feel like Bailey's going to be visiting Japan for a certain tournament in the coming months.
I will not be disappointed.
I honestly feel like it's well deserved.
This was very good, and a good show. A good show overall.
A very good show. I feel like to put it this way, I felt like the Saturday show was your warm up to Sunday. Sunday was the big debut, the big announcement that they were debuting in San Francisco. Got a lot of people excited because this was one of those bucket lists, you know. Brett would hear, when are you coming to San Francisco? When are you coming to the Bay? Blah, blah, blah. They finally show up. They have a return date for July 17th. So, you know, they're not wasting any time. They want to come back there as soon as possible, adding more dates to the already crowded GCW calendar. Because I know PCO mentioned in an interview and Brett said, no, we're not doing 40 dates, but come on, you're coming up to 40 dates. Like, sorry, buddy, but it's going to be 40. So it's very good weekend of shows for GCW. Like I said, I think we both agree Sunday was better.
Yeah, Sunday was better, and I think from top to bottom it was a well-paced show. I think very entertaining stuff. You know, and if you want to watch Paranoid, I'd say go for the opening half. You know, and add in Dickinson and Slamovich from the post intermission. But I thought it was a very bottom heavy show as opposed to the upper card matches with I felt ran out of gas.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But hey, it's not another weekend without more independent shows. And I'm going to give you 3 shows to look at and pay attention to. Yeah. I'm going to give you a few matches from those shows to keep an eye on here. We got on Friday, West Coast Pro Wrestling game related, 10 Eastern on IWTV. A couple matches from this show I think would be interesting to check out. We got Kevin Blackwood and Minoru Suzuki. I'm feeling like this is a greatest hits match, but it's still exciting to see Blackwood get this opportunity against Suzuki.
It's good for Blackwood.
Very good. Titus Alexander and Mike Bailey, that should be a lot of fun. And I'm interested in seeing how those two styles mesh. And honestly, I'm excited for Debbie Malenko and Masha Slamovich.
Look, Debbie Malenko, AJW legend, you know. I saw a smattering of her last year in the Battle Royal at Empower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But she's with Masha, and I have complete confidence in Masha. So we'll see how this goes. My prediction, Masha's going to work the heel here, and she's going to dominate the pace of the match. That's what I think. I think Debbie's going to eat a lot of is going to be a very defensive game for Debbie, but I don't know, man. I think this is a big test for Masha, in the sense that, look, we're giving you someone who hasn't worked regularly in years, because let's just be honest with each other, in decades. Mm-hmm. Hasn't worked regularly in decades. Make something happen, kind of thing, you know. I think it's a big test for Masha.
This actually is a rescheduled from February, when the two were supposed to face off then. So I'm excited to see that. On Saturday, two shows to take a look at. Expect the Unexpected's Era of the Unexpected at 8 p.m. on IWTV.
And is it honestly just coming the unexpected? Like expect the unexpected. This is like I could not have titled this better,
Right.
or at least because I did not see this card coming until just a couple of days ago. Where I'm like, holy shit, this
So
is a great show.
this is a great show. I mean, they announced four matches. The other four, you'll be surprised at the show itself. Couple matches to look at here. The SATS, the Spanish Announce team, taking on the Rock and Roll Express with Kerry
Wild,
Morton. It's going to
wild.
be it's 2022 has already been crazy. Let's make it crazier. And Mia Yim and Janai Kai, I cannot wait for this.
Look, if I'm not, I'm trying. We're doing this live here, but I think it's been turned into a triple. No, hang on a second. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. Mia Yim versus Janai Kai. That's fantastic. Janai Kai is another one that I enjoy. I enjoy saying great things about, and it'll be good to see Mia as well.
It will be. And then also in Iowa, we have Wrestling
Oh wait, are we
Revolvers.
done? Hang on, are we done talking about?
Go ahead if you have a
Because
little bit more you want to talk about.
we got Masha and Akira versus the Kirks, which is also going to be awesome. But listen, we've got Violence is Forever, who are also going to be on the card. You got AC Mack, you got Tony Deppen, Marcus Mathers, Alec Price. Fuck me. What is this card? This is insane.
And hey, how about the Black Nature Boy Scoot Andrews making a return,
Yes.
making his return to the ring?
This show just completely blindsided me, Sean. Like I'm like, you put it in there on and in the notes. I was like, wait, what? Did a little research. I was like, holy shit, there's all these people on this as well.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
one's
so
completely out of nowhere.
this has a lot of early Ring of Honor feel to it. I mean, obviously, Expect the Unexpected is named after a 2003 show. So it is a very much indie centric, indie-rific promotion. I think you're going to see a lot of fun here, a little bit of everything. But the four matches that have been announced so far, excuse me, and then just the talent announcement that's there, it's gonna be something special.
Wild.
So honestly, we go into Wrestling Revolver. We go to Swerve's house, which is on Fight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Main evented by Swerve Strickland and Athena. Originally, it was supposed to be Swerve and Ruby Soho, but I'll take this match. I think this is going to be exciting to watch. I'm also interested in Ace Austin versus Trey Miguel versus Lindsay Dorado and Blake Christian for the remix title that they have there. And then honestly, Deanna and Billy, give that to me again. I can watch that anytime. This is gonna be a very exciting show. A lot to offer. Wrestling with Revolver, since returning from the pandemic, has been putting out really good cards. You have a death match there between Manders and Jake Chris. A little bit, like I said, this is a little bit of everything for you too. It gives you a lot. And Weston Blake and God, what's Steve Macklin are teaming up once again to face the Wolves. So you have a little reuniting there too for the Revolver Tag titles.
Lots of fun stuff here. And Moose.
Yeah, a lot of fun
You
stuff in
can't win
Moose.
them all.
No, you can't. But those are the three shows that I would say keep an eye out and keep a lookout for. Obviously, there's a lot more shows that are happening throughout the weekend. Um, there were two other shows that happened this past weekend, including XPW's California, which was the death match King of the Death Match tournament that went for 6 hours and 32 minutes on Fight. Um, Good luck. And then John Wayne Murdoch and Pro Wrestling After Dark had Violence for the Sake of, which was a intergender deathmatch tournament won by Casey Kirk. So congratulations to her.
Good. Congratulations. And then there's also Prestige that's running two shows as well this weekend. They're not going to be streamed. They'll probably end up on IWTV afterwards. But the Roseland show is coming up soon, and that's going to be the big one. that we're excited to take a gander at. But yeah, no, more great stuff happening this weekend, and more great stuff happening with our boy Sean Taggart. Always a pleasure to have you here. But what you got going on outside of hot shakes and hand dogs?
So you can check out an article I did about the 2 GCW shows giving you match recommendations on Countout Network's website, countoutpod.com. And then I did release an episode on Supercard of Honor 4 on Monday. This upcoming Monday, I'll be taking a look at the first 3 years of Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor. So a lot of fun stuff. And then probably going to be talking about the shows that we told you to watch, not only on this show, but also maybe in the article as well.
And there you go. Sean's got his own podcast called Pure, which focuses on Ring of Honor. Have you seen an uptick in subscribers since Ring of Honor is back, baby?
Yeah, I've also seen people are more interested in learning about current events than past. But hey, you know what? That's good.
Yeah, everyone
you
needs
learn
a
as you
gateway.
go.
Like we were saying earlier, right? It's never too late to jump in. It's never too late to jump in. Don't let anyone try to hipster the shit out of you. It doesn't matter. It's always a good time to get into to wrestling, regardless.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there that are willing to be your guide to jump back in if you're wanting to.
Sure, absolutely.
And Warren, I guess we'll see you again on Thursday, huh?
Do we have to? Yes, we do. We do.
I mean, I'm gonna watch Wrestling Open, so.
Yeah, well, you never show up, so fuck you. I got the Mr. Warren Hayes show going on Thursday nights, the night that everyone counter programs. You know, Beyond, Impact, New Japan, they all put their shows on Thursdays. They put the Bloodsport and the Janela show on the Thursday 2 weeks ago. Yeah, counter programming the Juggernaut. Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, the Mr. Warren Hayes Show podcast. I am excited, Sean, to be able to talk excitedly about New Japan Pro Wrestling again, because they had the Hyper Battle show this weekend, which was a good wrestling show from top to bottom. Not a show where you're like 5-star classics, 4 to 5-star classics the whole way through, but finally, after 2 years of misery in New Japan, I start watching a show. It's good. Get to the end. It's even better. There's a crescendo, like a good 3.5, 4 hour wrestling card. I dug it. And so I'm excited to talk about that again. And also we'll be talking about WWE missing layups as far as storytelling goes, because they really like to make things more complicated than they should. We're going to be talking about all of that and the big Dynamite that's happening this week as well. So come and check that out. Well, it's right here on this channel, youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes, or on this podcast application right here that you're listening on. It'll pop up on Thursday. So there you go. But come and join us live on Thursday right here, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. And as for our little neck of the woods, we're going to wrap it up. We got another great weekend coming up of wrestling, Sean.
We do. I'm looking forward to it. And don't forget to join the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord, where you can chat with both of us. Links below.
Links are below.
Watching every Friday and Saturday and Sunday for indie wrestling.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.